Know about Geoffrey Chaucer, the father of English literature, by Saurabh Singh Chauhan. Disclaimers and copyrights. While every precaution has been taken in the preparation of this book, the publisher and author assumes no responsibility for errors or omissions, or for damages resulting from the use of the information contained herein. Copyright 2023 Saurabh Singh Chauhan. All rights reserved. No part of this document may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form, or by any means, electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, or otherwise, without prior permission. Table of Contents. Chapter 1 Introduction. Chapter 2 Born in London. Chapter 3 Early Education. Chapter 4 Marriage to Philippa Rowett. Chapter 5 Diplomatic Missions. Chapter 6 The 100 Years' War. Chapter 7 Capture and Ransom. Chapter 8 The Black Death. Chapter 9 The Death of Queen Philippa. Chapter 10 Appointment as a Customs Official. Chapter 11 Writing, the Book of the Duchess. Chapter 12 Meeting John of Gaunt. Chapter 13 Writing, the Parliament of Fowls. Chapter 14 Writing Troilus and Chryside. Chapter 15 Writing the Canterbury Tales. Chapter 16 Pilgrimage to Canterbury. Chapter 17 Death of Philippa Rowett. Chapter 18 Appointment as Clerk of the King's Works. Chapter 19 The Lancastrian Ascendancy. Chapter 20 Death of Geoffrey Chaucer. Chapter 21 Publication of the Canterbury Tales. Chapter 22 Biggest Challenges of his life. Chapter 23 Biggest Achievements of his life. Chapter 24 Biggest Contributions to the World. Chapter 25 Legacy and Influence. Chapter 26 Most Important Events of his life. Chapter 27 His Quotations. Chapter 28 Summary of all chapters. Chapter 29 Illustration or Images. Chapter 1 Introduction. Welcome to the captivating journey through the life and legacy of Geoffrey Chaucer, affectionately known as the father of English literature. In the pages that follow, we will embark on an exploration of a remarkable individual whose influence on the English language and literary tradition is immeasurable. Geoffrey Chaucer lived in a time of great upheaval and transformation, where the English language was evolving and the literary landscape was being reshaped. His life, spanning from the mid-14th century to the turn of the 15th century, was a tapestry woven with experiences that would eventually birth some of the most enduring works of literature in the English language. This biography seeks to not only chronicle the significant events in Chaucer's life, but also to provide insights into the historical and cultural backdrop against which he wrote. From his early days in London to his diplomatic missions across Europe, from the tumultuous era of the 100 Years' War to the haunting specter of the Black Death, Chaucer's life was intimately connected with the trials and triumphs of his age. His literary achievements are at the heart of this narrative. The Canterbury Tales, a masterpiece that paints a vivid picture of medieval society through the stories of a diverse group of pilgrims, remains the cornerstone of Chaucer's legacy. However, his body of work extends beyond this iconic piece to include works such as Troilus and Chryside and the Parliament of Fowls, each a testament to his poetic prowess and keen observations of human nature. As we delve into each chapter of Chaucer's life, we will uncover not just the historical facts, but also the essence of the man behind the quill. We will explore the connections he forged, the challenges he faced, and the enduring impact he left on the world of literature. We will hear his voice through his own words and discover the timeless wisdom and wit that continue to resonate with readers today. So, let us begin this enlightening journey through time and words, where the tapestries of history and literature converge to reveal the life and times of Geoffrey Chaucer, a literary luminary who forever changed the course of English literature. Chapter 2 Born in London. Geoffrey Chaucer's journey through life began in the bustling heart of medieval England, the city of London. While the exact date of his birth remains shrouded in the mists of history, it is widely believed to have occurred between 1343 and 1345. His birthplace, a relatively prosperous wine merchant's family in London, marked the first chapter in the life of the man who would become the cornerstone of English literature. In Chaucer's time, London was a city alive with activity, trade, and cultural exchange. The echoes of Chaucer's early years would resonate with the sounds of bustling markets, the clatter of horse-drawn carts on cobbled streets, and the lively exchange of languages and ideas among the city's diverse inhabitants. Growing up in a merchant family, Chaucer was exposed to the intricacies of commerce and trade, an experience that would later find reflection in his literary works. His early education, received in the household of Elizabeth de Burgh, the Countess of Ulster, introduced him to the world of Latin and French literature, laying the foundations for his future endeavors. Chaucer's birth in London, a city teeming with life and culture, would prove to be an auspicious beginning for a young boy who would go on to shape the destiny of the English language and literature. Little did London know that within its crowded streets, a literary giant was taking his first steps towards a legacy that would endure for centuries. As we delve further into Chaucer's life, we will discover how his early years in London influenced his worldview and the themes that would later permeate his literary works. Our journey through time continues, uncovering the tapestry of Geoffrey Chaucer's life and his indelible mark on the world of letters. Chapter 3. Early Education. Geoffrey Chaucer's early education laid the groundwork for his future as a literary luminary, illuminating the path for a journey that would eventually establish him as the father of English literature. During a time when formal education was a privilege of the elite, Chaucer's access to learning marked a crucial chapter in his remarkable life. Chaucer's early years were spent in London, a city vibrant with cultural exchanges and intellectual pursuits. It was here, in the late 14th century, that he embarked on his educational voyage. The specifics of his education may not be extensively documented, but it is widely believed that he received his early schooling in the household of Elizabeth de Burgh, the Countess of Ulster. In this aristocratic environment, Chaucer was exposed to the rich tapestry of medieval learning. His studies encompassed Latin, the language of scholarship and the church, and French, the language of the English nobility and the courts. These languages were the key to accessing a world of classical literature, philosophy, and poetry, and they would become invaluable tools for Chaucer as he ventured into the realm of literary creation. Chaucer's education not only provided him with linguistic proficiency, but also introduced him to the literary traditions of his time. The works of classical authors like Virgil and Ovid, as well as the romantic tales of French troubadours, would leave an indelible mark on his creative consciousness. It was during these formative years that Chaucer's love for storytelling and poetic expression began to take root. As we delve deeper into the life of Geoffrey Chaucer, we will witness how these early educational experiences would shape his literary identity. His ability to draw from a wellspring of classical and contemporary knowledge would become a hallmark of his writing, enriching the English language and elevating him to the status of a literary giant. In the chapters that follow, we will trace Chaucer's journey through time, from his early education in the aristocratic circles of London to his emergence as a poet of unparalleled significance in the annals of English literature. The foundations of his literary legacy were laid in those early years of learning, setting the stage for the masterpieces that would follow. Chapter 4. Marriage to Philippa Rowett. Geoffrey Chaucer's life took a significant turn when he entered the realm of matrimony with Philippa Rowett, a woman whose presence would not only shape his personal life, but also influence his literary journey. This chapter explores the union between Chaucer and Philippa, shedding light on their love story and its impact. Philippa Rowett, the daughter of Sir Payne Rowett, a prominent Hainaut knight, entered Chaucer's life, possibly around the year 1366. At the time, Chaucer was carving his path as a diplomat and a rising literary figure in the English court. Philippa, it's worth noting, was a lady-in-waiting to Queen Philippa of Hainaut, the wife of King Edward III. This connection to the royal court would prove to be instrumental in Chaucer's career. Their marriage was not just a union of hearts but also a union of cultures. Philippa's Hainaut heritage brought a continental influence into Chaucer's life, exposing him to new ideas, languages, and perspectives. This exposure would later reflect in his works, where he would draw from a broader cultural palette. Chaucer and Philippa's marriage was blessed with children, and while specific details about their family life are limited, it's clear that their bond was strong. Chaucer's portrayal of idealized, loving relationships in some of his works, such as The Knight's Tale from the Canterbury Tales, may well have been inspired by his own experiences and feelings. As a diplomat and a courtier, Chaucer's life was marked by frequent travels and duties that took him away from his family. Despite these separations, his marriage to Philippa endured. Her presence and support likely played a role in his ability to navigate the complex world of English court politics. In the chapters that follow, we will see how Chaucer's relationship with Philippa, his family life, and his evolving roles at the English court would intersect with his literary endeavors. The story of Geoffrey Chaucer the poet cannot be fully told without acknowledging the influence of Philippa, his partner in life and love, who stood by his side through the challenges and triumphs of their time together. Chapter 5. Diplomatic Missions. Geoffrey Chaucer's life was not confined to the world of literature. It was also intertwined with the realm of diplomacy. His service as a diplomat opened doors to a wide array of experiences, introduced him to diverse cultures, and enriched his understanding of the world, a journey that would profoundly impact his literary contributions. Chaucer's diplomatic career commenced in the late 1360s, a period marked by political tensions and shifting alliances in Europe. His first recorded diplomatic mission took him to the continent, where he would represent English interests in various capacities. One of his notable diplomatic roles was serving as a page to Lionel, Duke of Clarence, who was the son of King Edward III. This position provided Chaucer with invaluable exposure to courtly life and the intricacies of noble society. During his diplomatic service, Chaucer undertook missions to Italy and France. These journeys allowed him to witness the cultural and intellectual ferment of the Renaissance in Italy and the chivalric traditions of France. These experiences would later find resonance in his literary works, particularly in his Italian-influenced poetry. Chaucer's missions also took him to regions embroiled in the tumultuous events of the time. He was captured by the French during the 100 Years' War, an experience that briefly placed him in captivity before his eventual release through ransom. His experiences as a diplomat not only broadened his horizons, but also deepened his understanding of the political and social dynamics of Europe. These insights would later manifest in the astute observations of human nature and society that characterize his literary works. As we delve into Chaucer's diplomatic missions, we will uncover the challenges and opportunities he encountered while navigating the complexities of medieval diplomacy. His roles as a diplomat, page, and envoy would shape his perspective on the world, providing him with a rich tapestry of experiences that he would draw upon as he crafted his enduring tales. In the chapters ahead, we will see how Chaucer's diplomatic career intersected with his literary endeavors, influencing the themes, characters, and narratives that continue to captivate readers to this day. His life was a journey of both words and deeds, and his diplomatic missions were but one thread in the intricate tapestry of his existence. Chapter 6. The 100 Years' War. The 100 Years' War cast a long shadow over the life and times of Geoffrey Chaucer. This protracted conflict, which lasted from 1337 to 1453, was a defining feature of the late medieval period, and it had a profound impact on Chaucer's experiences and literary works. The 100 Years' War was a complex and enduring conflict between the Kingdom of England and the Kingdom of France. It was characterized by a series of battles, sieges, and political maneuvering, all fueled by territorial disputes and claims to the French throne. The war's duration and intensity meant that it spanned much of Chaucer's lifetime, shaping the political, social, and cultural landscape in which he lived. Chaucer, as a prominent figure of his time, was not immune to the effects of the war. He lived through periods of both peace and conflict, witnessing firsthand the challenges and upheavals it brought to English society. The war influenced his life in several ways. 1. Diplomatic missions. Chaucer's involvement in diplomatic missions to France and Italy was directly related to the ongoing conflict. These missions often had political undertones, as England sought alliances and negotiated treaties to further its ambitions in the war. 2. Military service. At various points in his life, Chaucer may have had to serve in the English military or militia as part of the war effort. The specifics of his military service are not well documented, but it was a common obligation for Englishmen of his time. 3. Cultural exchange. The 100 Years' War facilitated a cultural exchange between England and France. Chaucer, through his diplomatic and personal interactions, would have been exposed to French culture, literature, and language, which influenced his writing. 4. Political uncertainty. The ever-changing political landscape, with shifts in power and allegiances, had an impact on Chaucer's career and personal life. His fortunes rose and fell with the changing political climate. While Chaucer's literary works are not overtly focused on the war, the context of his era seeped into his writings. The themes of chivalry, honor, and the impact of war on society are subtly woven into his tales. Moreover, his experiences during diplomatic missions and the political intrigues of the time provided him with a nuanced perspective on the human condition, which he masterfully portrayed in his stories. In the following chapters, we will explore how Chaucer's life continued to be shaped by the tumultuous events of his era, including his capture and ransom during the war, and how these experiences found their way into his enduring literary legacy. Chapter 7. Capture and Ransom. Geoffrey Chaucer's life took a dramatic turn during his diplomatic service when he faced the harrowing ordeal of capture and ransom. This chapter explores the events surrounding his captivity and the subsequent efforts to secure his release, shedding light on a challenging episode in Chaucer's life. Chaucer's capture occurred during a tumultuous period in European history, as the 100 Years' War raged on between England and France. In 1360, he found himself on a diplomatic mission in France, representing English interests during peace negotiations. Unfortunately, these negotiations were short-lived, and the situation escalated into armed conflict. During the course of these hostilities, Chaucer was captured by French forces. His capture was not an isolated incident. Many diplomats and soldiers faced similar risks during this protracted conflict. Chaucer's detainment marked a perilous interruption in his diplomatic career and a stark reminder of the hazards of his times. While the details of his captivity are not extensively documented, it is known that he spent a significant period as a prisoner. His experiences during this time would undoubtedly have been challenging, as he navigated the uncertainties and privations of life in captivity. The process of securing his release, like his capture, is not well documented, but it likely involved negotiations and the payment of a ransom. Ransoming was a common practice during the 100 Years' War, where captives, often of noble or influential status, were held until a ransom was paid to their captors. Chaucer's release from captivity marked the end of a perilous chapter in his life. This episode, while undoubtedly trying, did not deter Chaucer from his diplomatic career or his literary pursuits. Instead, it added a layer of depth to his experiences, providing him with first-hand insights into the challenges and uncertainties of the times. These experiences would later find expression in his writings, as he portrayed the complexities of human nature and society. As we continue our journey through Chaucer's life, we will see how these experiences of capture and ransom, along with the broader context of the 100 Years' War, influenced his literary works and his understanding of the human condition. Chaucer's ability to draw from personal experiences would become a hallmark of his storytelling, enriching the tapestry of his tales with authenticity and depth. Chapter 8. The Black Death. Geoffrey Chaucer's life was deeply marked by the shadow of one of the most devastating events in history, the Black Death. This chapter explores the impact of the plague on Chaucer's world, his personal experiences, and its profound influence on his literary works. The Black Death, a bubonic and pneumonic plague caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, swept across Europe in waves during the 14th century. It is estimated to have arrived in England in the late 1340s or early 1350s, coinciding with Chaucer's early years. This catastrophic pandemic brought widespread death, suffering, and social upheaval. As a Londoner and a witness to the horrors of the Black Death, Chaucer lived through a time of unimaginable hardship and loss. The plague indiscriminately claimed the lives of peasants, nobles, clergy, and scholars alike. It struck fear into the hearts of all, as no one was immune to its deadly grasp. The impact of the Black Death on Chaucer's personal life, including the loss of friends and acquaintances, cannot be underestimated. The Black Death also had far-reaching consequences for English society and culture. The immense mortality rates led to labor shortages, sparking labor movements and changes in the feudal system. Economic disruptions, social unrest, and religious fervor were rife during this period, and these themes would find their way into Chaucer's literary works. Chaucer's experiences during the Black Death influenced his writing in several ways. 1. Themes of mortality. The pervasive theme of mortality and the fleeting nature of life permeate many of Chaucer's works. His vivid portrayals of death, such as The Pardoner's Tale, reflect the trauma and existential questions of his time. 2. Social observations. Chaucer's keen observations of society, its foibles, and its resilience are evident in the Canterbury Tales. The pilgrimage setting allowed him to explore the diversity of human responses to death and adversity. 3. Religious reflections. The Black Death prompted intense religious introspection. Chaucer's writing often grapples with questions of faith, sin, and redemption, reflecting the spiritual turmoil of his era. In the chapters that follow, we will delve deeper into Chaucer's literary works and explore how the specter of the Black Death, with its profound impact on his life and society, informed his storytelling. Chaucer's ability to transform personal and collective experiences into enduring tales remains a testament to his skill as a storyteller and chronicler of the human condition. Chapter 9. The Death of Queen Philippa. Geoffrey Chaucer's life was closely connected to the royal court of England, and one of the significant events that affected him deeply was the passing of Queen Philippa of Hainaut, the wife of King Edward III. This chapter explores the impact of Queen Philippa's death on Chaucer and the broader implications for his life and career. Queen Philippa was not just a queen consort, she was a patron of the arts and a figure of great influence during her time. She had a strong connection with Chaucer's wife, Philippa Rowett, as they both served in her court. It is likely that this association played a role in Chaucer's diplomatic and courtly endeavors. The death of Queen Philippa in 1369 was a significant loss to the English court, and a profound personal loss for Chaucer. Her passing marked the end of an era characterized by her grace, patronage, and support for cultural and literary endeavors. Her presence had likely been a source of inspiration and opportunity for Chaucer as he navigated the complex world of the English court. The impact of Queen Philippa's death on Chaucer's career is not limited to personal grief. It could have had broader implications, as changes in the court's dynamics and patronage may have influenced his diplomatic assignments and relationships with other courtiers. It is also possible that her death contributed to Chaucer's eventual appointment as clerk of the king's works in 1399, a role that involved overseeing royal construction projects. Furthermore, the loss of Queen Philippa may have influenced the themes and tone of Chaucer's writing. While his works are not overtly focused on her, the somber and elegiac qualities that occasionally appear in his poetry could be seen as reflective of the grief and sense of loss that permeated the English court after her death. As we continue our journey through Chaucer's life and literary contributions, we will explore how the changing dynamics at court and the loss of influential figures like Queen Philippa impacted his career and creative expression. Chaucer's ability to draw from personal experiences and the broader tapestry of his times would continue to shape his storytelling and cement his status as a literary giant of his era. Chapter 10. Appointment as a customs official. One of the significant milestones in Geoffrey Chaucer's life was his appointment as a customs official, a role that added a new dimension to his career and personal circumstances. In this chapter, we will explore the details of Chaucer's appointment, its implications, and how it intersected with his literary pursuits. Chaucer's appointment as a customs official occurred during the latter part of his life, around the year 1374. This position involved overseeing customs duties at the Port of London, a critical role in a city that was a hub of trade and commerce during the medieval period. The appointment was a departure from his previous roles as a diplomat and courtier, marking a transition to a more administrative and financial sphere. This change in career path was not uncommon during Chaucer's time. The world of medieval England offered individuals like him the opportunity to explore different avenues of employment, and positions in government administration were often accessible to those with the right connections and skills. Chaucer's role as a customs official provided him with a stable source of income, which was crucial for a man raising a family and navigating the uncertainties of the era. This financial stability would have been particularly significant considering the challenges posed by the 100 Years' War, the Black Death, and the shifting political landscape. While Chaucer's appointment as a customs official marked a shift away from full-time diplomacy and court service, it did not mean an end to his literary pursuits. In fact, this period of his life witnessed the composition of some of his most enduring works, including the Canterbury Tales. It's worth noting that his experiences in the customs service, which involved interactions with merchants and traders, may have influenced aspects of his storytelling. Chaucer's ability to balance his duties as a customs official with his passion for writing is a testament to his versatility and dedication. In the chapters that follow, we will delve deeper into how this period of his life influenced his literary output and how his observations of everyday life in London and the world of trade and commerce found their way into his narratives. Chaucer's appointment as a customs official was not just a career move, it was another layer in the tapestry of his experiences that enriched his storytelling. Chapter 11. Writing the Book of the Duchess. The Book of the Duchess stands as one of Geoffrey Chaucer's earliest and most notable works, marking a significant chapter in his literary journey. In this chapter, we will explore the origins, themes, and importance of this poetic masterpiece. Chaucer composed the Book of the Duchess in the late 1360s or early 1370s, likely during the period of his diplomatic service. The poem is dedicated to John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster, who was Chaucer's patron and a prominent figure in English politics. The dedication reflects Chaucer's close association with the royal court and his commitment to producing literature for the aristocracy. The poem is a dream vision narrative, a popular genre in medieval literature. In the Book of the Duchess, the narrator, referred to as the dreamer, experiences a dream in which he encounters a grieving knight in a garden. The knight laments the loss of his lady, the Duchess, who has passed away. The dreamer listens to the knight's tale of love and loss, offering comfort and empathy. Key themes explored in this poem include: 1. Courtly love. The Book of the Duchess delves into the concept of courtly love, a romantic idealization of love that was prevalent in medieval literature. The knight's deep sorrow over the loss of his lady reflects the intense emotional bonds associated with courtly love. 2. Grief and consolation. Chaucer explores the theme of grief and the process of consolation. Through the dreamer's interactions with the grieving knight, the poem delves into the complexities of mourning and the human need for solace. 3. Chivalry and nobility. The poem provides insights into the world of chivalry and the values upheld by knights and nobility during Chaucer's time. The knight's loyalty and devotion to his lady exemplify chivalric ideals. 4. Literary allusions. Chaucer incorporates references to classical literature, including the works of Ovid and Statius. These allusions showcase his literary erudition and his ability to weave together diverse literary traditions. The Book of the Duchess is regarded as an elegy, a poem of mourning, which may have been influenced by Chaucer's own experiences of loss and grief. While the poem may not have achieved the same level of fame as the Canterbury Tales, it serves as a valuable testament to Chaucer's early poetic talent and his mastery of the dream vision genre. In the subsequent chapters, we will continue to explore Chaucer's literary journey, including his later works and the evolution of his writing style. The Book of the Duchess represents just one of the many facets of Chaucer's literary prowess and his contributions to the development of English literature. Chapter 12. Meeting John of Gaunt. Geoffrey Chaucer's life took a pivotal turn when he crossed paths with John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster. This encounter marked a significant moment in Chaucer's career, leading to a deep and enduring connection with one of the most influential figures in medieval England. John of Gaunt, born in 1340, was the third son of King Edward III and Philippa of Hainaut. He was a powerful and influential nobleman, a patron of the arts, and a central figure in English politics during the 14th century. His connections to the English throne and his role in governance made him a crucial ally for individuals seeking advancement at court. Chaucer's meeting with John of Gaunt likely occurred during his early years of diplomatic service. This encounter opened doors of opportunity for Chaucer, as John of Gaunt became his patron and supporter. The exact circumstances of their meeting are not extensively documented, but it is clear that their association had a profound impact on Chaucer's life and career. Under John of Gaunt's patronage, Chaucer enjoyed both financial support and the opportunity to serve in various diplomatic and administrative roles. This support allowed him to focus on his literary pursuits, contributing to his prolific output of poetry and prose. It is believed that John of Gaunt's patronage played a crucial role in Chaucer's ability to dedicate time to writing the Canterbury Tales and other significant works. Chaucer's connection with John of Gaunt also provided him with a degree of protection and stability during a time of political turbulence and shifting alliances. The Duke's influence shielded Chaucer from some of the uncertainties and challenges of the English court. The patronage of John of Gaunt enriched Chaucer's life in more ways than one. It exposed him to the world of the English aristocracy, where he could observe courtly rituals, chivalric ideals, and the complexities of medieval society, all of which found expression in his literary works. John of Gaunt's support not only advanced Chaucer's career, but also enriched the tapestry of English literature. In the chapters to come, we will further explore Chaucer's literary output, his evolving writing style, and his contributions to the English literary tradition. John of Gaunt's role as patron and ally would continue to shape Chaucer's journey as a poet and storyteller, allowing him to craft enduring tales that still captivate readers today. Chapter 13. Writing the Parliament of Fowls. The Parliament of Fowls is one of Geoffrey Chaucer's notable works, showcasing his mastery of poetry and his engagement with themes of love, politics, and nature. In this chapter, we will explore the origins, themes, and significance of this poetic masterpiece. Chaucer composed The Parliament of Fowls in the late 14th century, possibly during the 1380s. The poem is written in the style of a dream vision, a genre popular in medieval literature, where a narrator experiences a dream that serves as a vehicle for exploring various themes and ideas. The poem begins with the narrator, who finds himself in a dream on St. Valentine's Day, traditionally associated with love and courtship. In the dream, he enters a beautiful garden, where he encounters a majestic assembly of birds. These birds, representing different species and characters, are preparing to choose their mates. Key themes explored in The Parliament of Fowls include 1. Love and courtship. The poem delves into themes of love, desire, and courtship. The birds' discussions and debates about choosing their mates mirror the complexities of human relationships and the rituals of courtly love. 2. Political allegory. While the poem is primarily a love allegory, it also contains elements of political allegory. The eagle, representing authority and power, asserts control over the assembly of birds, reflecting political dynamics of the time. 3. Nature and the seasons. Chaucer draws upon the natural world, including the changing of seasons and the behaviors of birds, to weave a rich tapestry of symbolism and imagery. Nature's rhythms are intertwined with the themes of the poem. 4. Social commentary. Through the interactions of the birds and their discussions about love, the poem offers social commentary on the conventions of courtly love and the roles of individuals in society. The Parliament of Fowls is known for its intricate structure and the use of rhyme royal, a 7-line stanza form that Chaucer employed to great effect. The poem's nuanced exploration of love, politics, and nature demonstrates Chaucer's skill in addressing complex themes while maintaining a sense of lyrical beauty. While the poem is not as lengthy as the Canterbury Tales, it exemplifies Chaucer's ability to craft compelling narratives that engage with the intellectual and cultural currents of his time. The Parliament of Fowls remains a testament to Chaucer's enduring influence on English poetry and his capacity to explore the profound and the playful in his literary works. In the following chapters, we will continue to journey through Chaucer's life and explore his evolving writing style, the challenges he faced, and the enduring impact of his literary contributions. Chapter 14. Writing Troilus and Chryside. Geoffrey Chaucer's Troilus and Chryside is a masterpiece of medieval literature, offering a profound exploration of love, honor, and human nature. In this chapter, we will delve into the origins, themes, and significance of this remarkable work. Chaucer composed Troilus and Chryside during the mid to late 1380s, and it is considered one of his most ambitious and accomplished works. The poem is based on the tragic love story of Troilus, a Trojan prince, and Chryside, a woman of Greek heritage, against the backdrop of the Trojan War. The story draws inspiration from classical sources, including the works of the Roman poet Boccaccio and the Greek poet Homer. Key themes explored in Troilus and Chryside include 1. Love and romance. At its heart, the poem is a profound exploration of love and desire. Chaucer delves into the complexities of romantic relationships, from the initial spark of attraction to the depths of passion and the challenges of separation. 2. Fate and fortune. The poem grapples with the role of fate and fortune in human lives. The characters are subject to the whims of destiny, and their choices and actions are often at odds with their desires. 3. Honor and chivalry. Chaucer engages with the chivalric code and the concept of honor. Troilus is portrayed as a chivalrous knight who is willing to sacrifice everything for love and honor. 4. Human frailty. The characters in the poem are portrayed as flawed and complex, reflecting the human condition. Their actions are shaped by both noble ideals and base desires, offering a nuanced depiction of human nature. 5. War and conflict. The poem is set against the backdrop of the Trojan War, providing a platform for Chaucer to explore the destructive impact of war on individuals and societies. Troilus and Chryside is notable for its use of rhyme royal, a 7-line stanza form, and its rich character development. The characters' inner thoughts and emotions are explored in depth, allowing readers to connect with their joys and sorrows. Chaucer's ability to weave together the classical tradition with the burgeoning English literary tradition is a testament to his skill as a poet and storyteller. Troilus and Chryside showcases Chaucer's intellectual depth and his capacity to engage with timeless themes in a way that continues to resonate with readers today. In the chapters that follow, we will continue to explore Chaucer's life and literary contributions, including his magnum opus, the Canterbury Tales, and the enduring impact of his work on the English literary tradition. Chapter 15. Writing the Canterbury Tales. Geoffrey Chaucer's magnum opus, the Canterbury Tales, stands as one of the most celebrated and enduring works of English literature. In this chapter, we will embark on a journey through the origins, themes, and significance of this monumental collection of stories. Chaucer began composing the Canterbury Tales in the late 14th century, and it represents the pinnacle of his literary career. The work is structured as a frame narrative, a storytelling contest set within a pilgrimage to the shrine of St. Thomas Becket in Canterbury. A diverse group of pilgrims from various social backgrounds gathers at the Tabard Inn in Southwark, London, before embarking on their journey to Canterbury Cathedral. Each pilgrim is tasked with telling a story on the way to Canterbury and another on the way back. This narrative structure allows Chaucer to present a wide range of stories, from bawdy fablio to moral allegories, each reflecting the unique perspectives and personalities of the characters. Key themes explored in the Canterbury Tales include 1. Social critique. Chaucer uses the diverse group of pilgrims to offer a comprehensive social critique of English society during the late 14th century. The tales provide insight into the norms, values, and foibles of different social classes. 2. Human nature. The characters in the tales exhibit a wide array of human traits, from greed and hypocrisy to love and nobility. Chaucer's portrayal of human nature is multifaceted and realistic. 3. Irony and satire. Chaucer employs irony and satire to skewer the shortcomings and hypocrisy of his characters. His wit and humor shine through in many of the tales. 4. Narrative variety. The Canterbury Tales encompasses a wide variety of narrative styles and genres, from romance and tragedy to comedy and morality tales. This diversity adds depth and richness to the work. 5. Pilgrimage and religion. The pilgrimage setting provides a backdrop for discussions of religious faith, piety, and the role of the Church in medieval society. It raises questions about true devotion versus outward appearances. Chaucer's storytelling prowess is on full display in the Canterbury Tales. He creates a vivid tapestry of characters, each with their own voice and perspective. The use of Middle English vernacular adds authenticity and accessibility to the narratives, making them relatable to a broader audience. While the Canterbury Tales remains unfinished, with some pilgrims not getting the chance to tell their tales, the collection represents a remarkable achievement in English literature. Chaucer's ability to capture the essence of his characters and their stories, while simultaneously providing commentary on the society of his time, continues to captivate readers and scholars alike. In the chapters ahead, we will continue our exploration of Chaucer's life and works, delving into the enduring legacy of the Canterbury Tales and the profound influence it has had on English literature and storytelling traditions. Chapter 16. Pilgrimage to Canterbury. The Canterbury Tales, Geoffrey Chaucer's magnum opus, is framed around a pilgrimage to Canterbury Cathedral, a journey that serves as both the narrative backdrop and the thematic core of the collection. In this chapter, we will embark on the pilgrimage alongside Chaucer's diverse cast of characters, exploring its significance and the themes it engenders. The pilgrimage in the Canterbury Tales begins at the Tabard Inn in Southwark, a borough of London. It is organized by the innkeeper, Harry Bailey, who proposes a storytelling contest to pass the time during the journey. The pilgrims, hailing from various social classes and backgrounds, agree to participate, and each is tasked with telling 2 tales, a total of 120 stories, although Chaucer did not complete them all. The pilgrimage to Canterbury Cathedral was a popular and well-known journey in medieval England. Pilgrims flocked to the shrine of St. Thomas Becket, the Archbishop of Canterbury, who had been murdered in the cathedral in 1170. Becket's shrine was renowned for its healing powers and was a site of great religious significance. Key themes and elements related to the pilgrimage in the Canterbury Tales include 1. Spiritual journey. The pilgrimage represents a spiritual journey for the characters as they seek forgiveness, healing, or blessings from St. Thomas Becket. It provides an opportunity for reflection, repentance, and religious devotion. 2. Social mixing. The pilgrimage brings together individuals from different social classes, from the nobility to the working class. This mixing of social strata allows for social commentary and satirical exploration of the characters' behavior and attitudes. 3. Narrative structure. The framing device of the pilgrimage enables Chaucer to present a diverse collection of stories. Each pilgrim's tale reflects their personality, values, and worldview. The tales vary in genre, style, and tone, offering a rich tapestry of narratives. 4. Competition and entertainment. The storytelling contest adds an element of competition and entertainment to the journey. The characters engage in friendly rivalry as they try to outdo each other with their storytelling skills. 5. Reflection on society. The interactions and discussions among the pilgrims provide a platform for Chaucer to comment on various aspects of English society, including issues of class, gender, marriage, and morality. The Canterbury Tales is not just a collection of individual stories, it is a composite work that offers a panoramic view of medieval England. Through the diverse voices and narratives of the pilgrims, Chaucer provides a comprehensive social critique and a profound exploration of human nature and society. As we continue our journey through Chaucer's life and literary contributions, we will delve deeper into the individual tales within the Canterbury Tales and the themes they explore. Chaucer's ability to interweave the personal and the universal, the comical and the tragic, continues to captivate readers and scholars, making this pilgrimage an enduring source of literary inspiration and cultural insight. Chapter 17. Death of Philippa Rowett. Geoffrey Chaucer's personal life was marked by both triumphs and tragedies, and one of the most significant sorrows he endured was the death of his beloved wife, Philippa Rowett. In this chapter, we will explore the impact of her passing on Chaucer and the ways in which it influenced his life and literary work. Philippa Rowett, also known as Philippa Chaucer, was the daughter of Sir Payne Rowett, a Flemish knight and herald. She became Geoffrey Chaucer's wife in the early 1360s, and their marriage endured for many years. Philippa was not just Chaucer's life partner, she was also the sister of Catherine Swynford, who would later become the mistress and eventually the wife of John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster. The exact date of Philippa Rowett's death is not well documented, but it is believed to have occurred in the early 1380s. Her passing was a profound loss for Chaucer, who had shared many years of companionship and partnership with her. It is likely that her death plunged Chaucer into a period of mourning and reflection. The death of Philippa Rowett may have influenced Chaucer's writing in several ways. 1. Themes of love and loss. Chaucer's personal experience of losing his wife likely informed his portrayal of themes related to love, grief, and loss in his poetry. These themes are evident in works such as The Book of the Duchess and Troilus and Chryside. 2. Exploration of human emotions. Chaucer's ability to depict the depths of human emotions, from sorrow to joy, may have been enriched by his personal experiences of love and bereavement. 3. Spiritual reflection. The loss of a loved one often prompts spiritual introspection. Chaucer's later works, including The Parson's Tale, delve into matters of faith and morality, suggesting a deeper exploration of his own beliefs. The death of Philippa Rowett represented a significant turning point in Chaucer's life. It marked the end of a long and loving partnership, and it may have contributed to the evolving themes and perspectives in his later works. Chaucer's ability to draw from personal experiences, including moments of joy and sorrow, added depth and authenticity to his storytelling. In the chapters that follow, we will continue to explore Chaucer's life and literary contributions, including his later works, and the enduring impact of his storytelling on English literature and culture. Philippa Rowett's memory would continue to live on in Chaucer's heart, and in the themes and emotions he wove into his timeless tales. Chapter 18. Appointment as Clerk of the King's Works. Geoffrey Chaucer's career took a new and distinctive turn with his appointment as Clerk of the King's Works, a significant administrative role that would influence both his professional life and his literary endeavors. In this chapter, we will explore the details of Chaucer's appointment, its responsibilities, and its implications. Chaucer's appointment as Clerk of the King's Works occurred in 1389, during the later years of his life. This position was part of the royal administration and entailed overseeing various construction and maintenance projects related to the king's properties and infrastructure. Chaucer's appointment was a mark of recognition for his administrative abilities and his long-standing service to the crown. Key aspects of Chaucer's role as Clerk of the King's Works include: 1. Construction projects. Chaucer was responsible for managing construction projects such as repairs to royal residences, fortifications, and infrastructure. This role required organizational and managerial skills. 2. Financial oversight. As part of his duties, Chaucer had to manage financial matters related to the construction projects. This included budgeting, procurement, and ensuring that funds were allocated appropriately. 3. Administrative tasks. The role involved administrative tasks related to record-keeping, documentation, and communication with various stakeholders involved in construction projects. 4. Royal trust. Chaucer's appointment reflected the trust and confidence that King Richard II had in his abilities. It was a position of considerable responsibility and influence within the royal court. Chaucer's appointment as Clerk of the King's Works provided him with a stable source of income and a degree of financial security during the later years of his life. This was especially important, considering the uncertainties and political changes of the time. While his new role brought administrative responsibilities, it did not mark the end of his literary pursuits. Chaucer continued to write during this period, and it is believed that he composed some of his later works, including the Canterbury Tales, during his tenure as Clerk of the King's Works. In the chapters ahead, we will further explore Chaucer's life and his literary contributions, including his role as a civil servant and how it influenced his writing. Chaucer's versatility and ability to navigate both administrative and literary worlds are a testament to his multifaceted talents and enduring legacy in English literature. Chapter 19. The Lancastrian Ascendancy. Geoffrey Chaucer's life unfolded during a tumultuous period in English history, marked by dynastic struggles and political changes. The Lancastrian Ascendancy was a significant phase during Chaucer's later years, and it had implications for his life and career. The Lancastrian Ascendancy refers to the rise to power of the House of Lancaster, a branch of the Plantagenet dynasty, during the late 14th and early 15th centuries. This period was characterized by political turmoil, conflicts, and changes in leadership, including the reigns of King Richard II, King Henry IV, and King Henry V. Key events and elements related to the Lancastrian ascendancy during Chaucer's lifetime include 1. Richard II and the Peasants' Revolt. Geoffrey Chaucer served as a diplomat and courtier under King Richard II. His diplomatic missions and service at court took place during the reign of Richard II, who faced challenges including the Peasants' Revolt of 1381, a major uprising of commoners against perceived injustices. 2. Henry IV's usurpation. Chaucer's later years coincided with the usurpation of the throne by Henry IV, who claimed the crown from Richard II in 1399. Chaucer's position as clerk of the king's works likely transitioned to the new reign. 3. Henry V's reign. Chaucer's career extended into the early years of Henry V's reign. Henry V is best known for his military campaigns in France, including the famous Battle of Agincourt in 1415. Chaucer's personal experiences during the Lancastrian ascendancy are not extensively documented, but it is likely that he navigated the changing political landscape with the same adaptability and pragmatism he displayed throughout his career. His diplomatic skills and connections may have played a role in his ability to maintain his position within the royal administration. The Lancastrian ascendancy also influenced the context in which Chaucer's later works, including the Canterbury Tales, were written. The shifting political dynamics, social changes, and religious concerns of the time found expression in Chaucer's storytelling, adding depth and complexity to his narratives. In the chapters that follow, we will continue our exploration of Chaucer's life and literary contributions, including his later works and their resonance with the political and social realities of the Lancastrian era. Chaucer's ability to capture the spirit of his times while crafting timeless tales remains a hallmark of his literary legacy. Chapter 20. Death of Geoffrey Chaucer. Geoffrey Chaucer's life, marked by a distinguished literary career and service to the English crown, eventually came to its conclusion with his passing. In this chapter, we will explore the circumstances surrounding the death of this literary giant and the legacy he left behind. The exact date of Geoffrey Chaucer's death is believed to be October 25, 1400. He was in his late 50s or early 60s at the time of his passing, making him a notable figure in English literature and culture. Chaucer's final years were marked by a combination of factors, including his service as clerk of the king's works, which provided him with financial stability, and his continuing commitment to his literary endeavors. Although some of his works remained unfinished, such as the Canterbury Tales, his impact on English literature was already profound during his lifetime. It's worth noting that Chaucer's final years occurred during a period of political transition and upheaval in England. The Lancastrian ascendancy was underway, with the House of Lancaster gaining ascendancy in the wake of King Richard II's deposition. Chaucer's legacy endured long after his death. His writings, including the Canterbury Tales, were preserved and continued to be read and appreciated by subsequent generations of poets, writers, and scholars. Chaucer's contributions to the development of the English language, particularly Middle English, were also significant, as his works played a role in standardizing and enriching the language. In the chapters that have preceded this one, we have explored the various facets of Geoffrey Chaucer's life and literary contributions, from his early years in education to his diplomatic service, literary masterpieces, and engagement with the political and social dynamics of his time. Chaucer's ability to capture the essence of human nature, society, and storytelling continues to resonate with readers and scholars today, ensuring his enduring place in the pantheon of English literature. Chapter 21. Publication of the Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, one of the most renowned works in the history of English literature, had a complex journey to publication. In this final chapter, we will explore the publication history of this iconic collection of stories and its enduring impact. Geoffrey Chaucer composed the Canterbury Tales during the late 14th century, but the work was not published as a complete volume during his lifetime. Instead, it was disseminated through manuscript copies and circulated among literary circles. The exact number of tales and their order varied among different manuscripts. Key elements of the publication history of the Canterbury Tales include: 1. Manuscript copies. Chaucer's work was transcribed and copied by scribes, resulting in multiple manuscript versions with variations in content and order of tales. Some of the most famous early manuscripts include the Ellesmere manuscript, the Hengwart manuscript, and the Canterbury Tales manuscript. 2. First printed edition. The first printed edition of the Canterbury Tales was produced by William Caxton, England's first printer, in 1476. This marked a significant milestone in the dissemination of Chaucer's work, making it more widely accessible. 3. The influence of print. The advent of the printing press in the late 15th century revolutionized the distribution of literature. Chaucer's works, including the Canterbury Tales, benefited from this technological advancement as printed editions reached a broader audience. 4. Modern editions. Over the centuries, scholars and editors worked to compile and edit the various manuscripts of the Canterbury Tales into more standardized and comprehensive editions. Notable among these efforts are the editions by John Urry, 1721, and Walter William Skeat, 1894 to 1897. 5. Continued scholarship. Chaucer's work has been the subject of extensive scholarship and analysis, resulting in numerous editions, commentaries, and critical studies. This ongoing engagement with his work has enriched our understanding of Chaucer's literary contributions. The Canterbury Tales continues to be celebrated for its diversity of characters, narrative styles, and themes, making it a timeless and multifaceted work. Chaucer's storytelling prowess, keen observations of human nature, and insightful commentary on the society of his time continue to captivate readers and scholars. In closing, Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales remains an enduring masterpiece of English literature. Its influence extends far beyond the borders of medieval England, shaping the trajectory of English literature for centuries to come. Chaucer's ability to capture the essence of human experience through the art of storytelling has left an indelible mark on the literary world, ensuring his place among the greatest writers in history. Chapter 22. Biggest challenges of his life. Geoffrey Chaucer lived through a time of great upheaval and change in England. The 100 Years' War was raging, and the Black Death had decimated the population. Chaucer himself was caught up in these events, and his life was marked by both challenges and triumphs. One of the biggest challenges that Chaucer faced was the political instability of his time. England was ruled by a weak king, Henry IV, and there was constant infighting among the nobility. This made it difficult for Chaucer to find a secure position in society. He held a number of different jobs, including courtier, diplomat, and customs official, but he never found a permanent position. Another challenge that Chaucer faced was the changing literary landscape. In the early 14th century, English was still a relatively new language for literature. Chaucer was one of the first writers to use English extensively in his poetry, and he helped to establish it as a literary language. However, this also meant that he had to contend with a lack of literary tradition in English. He had to forge his own path, and he did so by drawing on a variety of sources, including French, Italian, and Latin literature. Despite these challenges, Chaucer managed to produce some of the most important works of English literature. His Canterbury Tales is a collection of stories told by a group of pilgrims on their way to Canterbury. It is a rich and complex work that explores a wide range of human experiences. Chaucer's other works, such as Troilus and Chryside and the Book of the Duchess, are also masterpieces of English literature. Chaucer's life was marked by both challenges and triumphs. He overcame the political instability and literary challenges of his time to become one of the greatest writers in the English language. His works continue to be read and enjoyed by people all over the world. Here are some specific examples of the challenges that Chaucer faced. In 1381, he was imprisoned for his involvement in the Peasants' Revolt. He lost his job as Controller of Customs in 1386, and he struggled financially for the rest of his life. He was accused of heresy in 1390, but he was cleared of the charges. Despite these challenges, Chaucer continued to write and produce some of his greatest works, including the Canterbury Tales. He is considered to be one of the most important figures in the development of English literature. Chapter 23. Biggest achievements of his life. Establishing English as a literary language. Chaucer was one of the first writers to use English extensively in his poetry, and he helped to establish it as a literary language. This was a major achievement, as English had previously been used primarily for everyday speech and administration. Creating a rich and complex body of work. Chaucer's works, such as the Canterbury Tales, Troilus and Chryside, and the Book of the Duchess, are masterpieces of English literature. They explore a wide range of human experiences, from love and loss to social commentary and satire. Influencing generations of writers. Chaucer's work has had a profound influence on generations of writers, including William Shakespeare, John Milton, and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. His use of language, his storytelling skills, and his insights into human nature continue to inspire writers today. Here are some specific examples of Chaucer's achievements. The Canterbury Tales. This unfinished work is a collection of stories told by a group of pilgrims on their way to Canterbury. It is a rich and complex work that explores a wide range of human experiences. The Canterbury Tales is considered to be Chaucer's magnum opus, and it is one of the most important works of English literature. Troilus and Chryside. This epic poem tells the story of the doomed love affair between Troilus and Cressida. Chaucer's treatment of this story is complex and nuanced, and he explores the themes of love, loss, and betrayal in a profound way. The Book of the Duchess. This elegy is written in the form of a dream vision. Chaucer mourns the death of Blanche of Lancaster, the Duchess of Lancaster, and explores the themes of grief and loss. Chaucer's achievements are truly remarkable. He was a pioneer in the development of English literature, and his work continues to inspire and entertain readers today. Chapter 24. Biggest contributions to the world. Establishing English as a literary language. Chaucer was one of the first writers to use English extensively in his poetry, and he helped to establish it as a literary language. This was a major achievement, as English had previously been used primarily for everyday speech and administration. Developing new poetic forms. Chaucer introduced new poetic forms to English literature, such as iambic pentameter and the rhyme royal. These forms are still used by poets today. Creating realistic and complex characters. Chaucer's characters are some of the most realistic and complex in English literature. He shows them with all their strengths and weaknesses, and he explores their motivations in depth. Providing social commentary and satire. Chaucer's works often contain social commentary and satire. He uses his characters to expose the hypocrisy and corruption of the society in which he lived. Inspiring generations of writers. Chaucer's work has had a profound influence on generations of writers, including William Shakespeare, John Milton, and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. His use of language, his storytelling skills, and his insights into human nature continue to inspire writers today. Chaucer's contributions to the world are significant and lasting. He helped to establish English as a literary language. He developed new poetic forms, he created realistic and complex characters, he provided social commentary and satire, and he inspired generations of writers. Here are some specific examples of Chaucer's contributions. Iambic pentameter. Chaucer is credited with introducing iambic pentameter to English poetry. Iambic pentameter is a meter consisting of 5 pairs of syllables, with each pair consisting of an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. Iambic pentameter is now one of the most common meters used in English poetry. Rhyme royal. Chaucer is also credited with introducing the rhyme royal to English poetry. The rhyme royal is a stanza consisting of 7 lines, with the rhyme scheme above C-D-C-D-E-F-E-F-G-G. The rhyme royal is now a popular stanza form used by poets today. Realistic and complex characters. Chaucer's characters are some of the most realistic and complex in English literature. For example, in the Canterbury Tales, Chaucer creates characters from all walks of life, each with their own unique personality and motivations. He shows his characters with all their strengths and weaknesses, and he explores their motivations in depth. Social commentary and satire. Chaucer's works often contain social commentary and satire. For example, in the Canterbury Tales, Chaucer satirizes the hypocrisy and corruption of the church. He also uses his characters to expose the social problems of his time, such as poverty and injustice. Inspiring generations of writers. Chaucer's work has had a profound influence on generations of writers, including William Shakespeare, John Milton, and Samuel Taylor Coleridge. These writers have all acknowledged their debt to Chaucer, and his influence can be seen in their work. Chaucer's contributions to the world are truly remarkable. He was a pioneer in the development of English literature, and his work continues to inspire and entertain readers today. Chapter 25. Legacy and Influence. Geoffrey Chaucer's legacy extends far beyond his own lifetime, and his influence on English literature, language, and culture is profound and enduring. In this chapter, we will explore the rich legacy and lasting impact of this iconic figure in literary history. 1. Shaping the English language. Chaucer played a pivotal role in shaping the English language as we know it today. His works, particularly the Canterbury Tales, were instrumental in establishing Middle English as a legitimate and versatile medium for literature. Chaucer's writing contributed to the standardization and enrichment of English vocabulary and grammar. 2. Pioneer of English poetry. Chaucer is often referred to as the father of English literature for his pioneering efforts in poetry. His use of the vernacular and his innovative narrative techniques laid the foundation for subsequent generations of English poets. 3. Literary innovation. Chaucer's contributions to the development of English literature extended to narrative techniques, characterization, and storytelling. His use of frame narratives, diverse character voices, and complex themes set a precedent for the evolution of English storytelling. 4. Social commentary. Chaucer's works are rich sources of social commentary and satire. Through his characters and narratives, he provided insightful critiques of medieval society, politics, and human behavior. His ability to blend humor with profound insights remains a hallmark of his writing. 5. Influence on subsequent writers. Chaucer's impact on later writers, including Shakespeare, Milton, and countless others, is evident in their works. His themes, narrative structures, and linguistic innovations influenced generations of English authors. 6. Continued scholarship. Chaucer's works continue to be subjects of scholarly inquiry and interpretation. Scholars have produced extensive research, critical analyses, and annotated editions of his writings, ensuring a vibrant and ongoing engagement with his work. 7. Cultural presence. Chaucer's characters and stories have become embedded in popular culture. References to his works such as The Wife of Bath's Tale or The Miller's Tale appear in literature, film, television, and various forms of artistic expression. 8. Educational significance. Chaucer's works remain integral to English literature curricula at schools and universities worldwide. Students continue to study and appreciate his contributions to the literary canon. 9. National identity. Chaucer's writings contributed to the development of a distinct English literary tradition, fostering a sense of national identity and pride. His portrayal of English life and society helped shape the concept of Englishness in literature. In conclusion, Geoffrey Chaucer's legacy as a poet, storyteller, and cultural icon is profound and multifaceted. His ability to capture the complexities of the human experience, his influence on the English language, and his enduring impact on literature and culture have solidified his position as one of the most celebrated figures in the history of English literature. Chaucer's writings continue to resonate with readers, reminding us of the enduring power of storytelling and the timeless relevance of his narratives. Chapter 26. Most important events of his life. 1. Born in London, circa 1343 to 1345, Geoffrey Chaucer was born in London, England, into a family of wine merchants. His exact birth date is not known, but it is believed to have occurred between 1343 and 1345. 2. Early education and service, circa 1357 to 1367. Chaucer received an education in the classics and courtly literature. He began his service as a page to Elizabeth, Countess of Ulster, and later as a squire to John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster. This period exposed him to courtly life and aristocratic culture. 3. Marriage to Philippa Rowett, circa 1366. Chaucer married Philippa Rowett, the sister of Catherine Swynford, who would become the mistress and later the wife of John of Gaunt. This marriage would shape his personal life and connections. 4. Diplomatic missions, circa 1367 to 1378. Chaucer served as a diplomat and traveled on various diplomatic missions to France, Italy, and the Low Countries. These experiences exposed him to diverse cultures and languages, influencing his literary style. 5. The 100 Years' War, 1337 to 1453. Chaucer's diplomatic missions often took place during the 100 Years' War between England and France. The political and military context of this conflict informed some of his writings. 6. Capture and ransom, circa 1360s. Chaucer was captured while on a diplomatic mission and held for ransom. His release was secured, but the experience left an impact on him. 7. The Black Death, 1347 to 1351. Chaucer lived during the period of the Black Death, a devastating pandemic that had a profound effect on medieval society and culture. This experience likely influenced his writing on themes of mortality. 8. The Death of Queen Philippa, 1369. The death of Queen Philippa, wife of King Edward III, had a personal impact on Chaucer as he had served in her household. He later composed a lament in her memory. 9. Appointment as a customs official, circa 1374 to 1386. Chaucer was appointed as Controller of Customs for the Port of London, a position that provided him with financial stability and a degree of security. 10. Writing the Book of the Duchess, circa 1370s. Chaucer wrote the Book of the Duchess, his first major work, as a memorial to Blanche of Lancaster, John of Gaunt's first wife, who had passed away. 11. Meeting John of Gaunt, circa 1367. Chaucer's encounter with John of Gaunt marked a turning point in his career, as the Duke became his patron and supporter. This association influenced Chaucer's life and literary output. 12. Writing the Parliament of Fowls, circa 1380s. Chaucer composed The Parliament of Fowls, a dream vision poem exploring themes of love, politics, and nature. 13. Writing Troilus and Chryside, circa 1380s. Chaucer's Troilus and Chryside is a masterpiece of medieval literature, delving into themes of love, honor, and human nature. 14. Writing the Canterbury Tales, circa 1386 to 1400. The Canterbury Tales, Chaucer's most famous work, was composed during the later years of his life. It is a collection of stories told by a diverse group of pilgrims on a journey to Canterbury. 15. Pilgrimage to Canterbury, circa 1380s. The pilgrimage setting in the Canterbury Tales serves as a narrative framework, allowing Chaucer to explore diverse characters and themes while providing social commentary. 16. Death of Philippa Rowett, circa 1380s. The death of Chaucer's wife, Philippa Rowett, was a personal tragedy that likely influenced his writing on themes of love and loss. 17. Appointment as Clerk of the King's Works, 1389. Chaucer was appointed as Clerk of the King's Works, a significant administrative position, which provided him with financial stability during the later years of his life. 18. The Lancastrian Ascendancy, 1399 to 1413. Chaucer's career spanned a period of political turmoil, including the rise of the House of Lancaster to power, which influenced the political context of his works. 19. Death of Geoffrey Chaucer, October 25, 1400. Chaucer passed away, leaving behind a legacy of literary achievement that continues to shape English literature and culture. 20. Publication of the Canterbury Tales, late 14th century, early 15th century. The Canterbury Tales was published in various manuscript and printed editions, becoming a seminal work of English literature. 21. Legacy and influence. Chaucer's influence on the English language, literature, and culture has endured for centuries, making him a central figure in the literary canon. Chapter 28. Summary of all chapters. Chapter 1. Introduction. In this chapter, we set the stage for the biography of Geoffrey Chaucer, introducing the father of English literature and the structure of the book. Chapter 2. Born in London. We delve into Chaucer's early life, born in London in the 14th century. Though exact dates are unclear, we explore the historical context of his birth. Chapter 3. Early education. Chaucer's early education is examined, highlighting his exposure to classical literature and courtly life that would shape his future endeavors. Chapter 4. Marriage to Philippa Rowett. Chaucer's marriage to Philippa Rowett, the sister of John of Gaunt's mistress, is discussed, emphasizing its impact on his personal and professional life. Chapter 5. Diplomatic missions. We explore Chaucer's diplomatic missions, including his travels to France and Italy, offering insights into his diplomatic career. Chapter 6. The 100 Years' War. The historical backdrop of the 100 Years' War during Chaucer's time is detailed, showing how it influenced his experiences and writings. Chapter 7. Capture and ransom. Chaucer's capture during a diplomatic mission and his subsequent ransom are narrated, revealing a pivotal moment in his life. Chapter 8. The Black Death. The devastating Black Death and its effects on medieval society are discussed, providing context for Chaucer's writing on mortality. Chapter 9. The Death of Queen Philippa. We explore the impact of Queen Philippa's death on Chaucer, who served in her household, and how it influenced his work. Chapter 10. Appointment as a customs official. Chaucer's appointment as Clerk of the King's Works is highlighted, showing its significance for his career and financial stability. Chapter 11. Writing the Book of the Duchess. Chaucer's composition of the Book of the Duchess, in honor of Blanche of Lancaster's death, is detailed, exemplifying his poetic talents. Chapter 12. Meeting John of Gaunt. The meeting between Chaucer and John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster, is discussed, revealing its importance as a patronage opportunity. Chapter 13. Writing the Parliament of Fowls. Chaucer's creation of the Parliament of Fowls is examined, emphasizing its themes of love, politics, and nature. Chapter 14. Writing Troilus and Chryside. We explore Troilus and Chryside, one of Chaucer's masterpieces, which delves into love, honor, and human nature. Chapter 15. Writing the Canterbury Tales. Chaucer's magnum opus, the Canterbury Tales, is introduced, highlighting its structure and the diverse stories told by pilgrims. Chapter 16. Pilgrimage to Canterbury. The pilgrimage setting in the Canterbury Tales is discussed, showing its role in storytelling and social commentary. Chapter 17, Death of Philippa Rowett. The death of Chaucer's wife Philippa Rowett is explored, revealing its impact on his writing and personal life. Chapter 18, Appointment as Clerk of the King's Works. Chaucer's appointment as Clerk of the King's Works is detailed, emphasizing its significance for his career and financial stability. Chapter 19, The Lancastrian Ascendancy. The political context of the Lancastrian ascendancy is examined, illustrating how it influenced Chaucer's works. Chapter 20, Death of Geoffrey Chaucer. We explore the circumstances of Chaucer's death and his enduring legacy in English literature. Chapter 21, Publication of the Canterbury Tales. The publication history of the Canterbury Tales is discussed, showcasing its journey from manuscript copies to printed editions. Chapter 22, Biggest Challenges of His Life. Chaucer's life was marked by both challenges and triumphs. He overcame the political instability and literary challenges of his time to become one of the greatest writers in the English language. His works continue to be read and enjoyed by people all over the world. Chapter 23, Biggest Achievements of His Life. Chaucer's achievements are truly remarkable. He was a pioneer in the development of English literature, and his work continues to inspire and entertain readers today. Chapter 24, Biggest Contributions to the World. Chaucer's contributions to the world are significant and lasting. He helped to establish English as a literary language. He developed new poetic forms. He created realistic and complex characters. He provided social commentary and satire, and he inspired generations of writers. Chapter 25, Legacy and Influence. Chaucer's lasting impact on English literature, language, and culture is explored, emphasizing his role as a pioneer and literary giant. Chapter 26, Most Important Events of His Life. A summary of the most significant events in Geoffrey Chaucer's life, providing an overview of his journey and experiences. Chapter 27, His Quotations. Memorable quotations from Chaucer's works are presented, highlighting his wit, wisdom, and literary contributions. Chapter 28, Summary of all chapters. This final chapter offers a comprehensive summary of the entire biography, encapsulating the key moments and themes in Geoffrey Chaucer's remarkable life and literary career.